Aloha everyone, my name is Peter Hanohano and I am coming at you live here on Facebook. I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late, just trying to figure out this whole thing and setting up everything, and so yeah, hopefully this is still working. And anyways, I can't really see the screen, I've got it facing backwards, but I'm so glad to be here with you guys today. For those of you who don't know me, I don't know how it is that you're watching this because I am live on Facebook right now. And so you have to be a friend, I believe, to be able to be viewing this right now. So, first of all, once again, my name is Peter Hanohano. I am originally from Hawaii. I am married. I have 4 children. We are currently living in Provo, Utah right now. And this is part of my Lift Her Up project that I've been working on for about almost 2 months now. And just a little bit about me before I get into the topic that I wanted to talk about today. I am, like I said, I'm married, and my spouse struggles from mental illness, and she's been diagnosed from professionals to have mental illnesses. And the topic that I wanted to specifically talk about today is depression. Okay, I feel like that is actually, believe it or not, about 10% of all population here in America struggle from depression. And that, to me, is a large number. That is a very big percentage. And so that's kind of what I wanted to focus this live stream on Facebook. I believe this is my first time ever doing this live. I do have a YouTube channel. If you guys want to see more, you can head over to my YouTube channel. I'll post it in this link once this video is done and I'm able to do all of that stuff. I'll post it in here. But it is my Lift Her Up project. Okay? And so I have a channel on YouTube. I have a couple videos on there. But I'm going to slowly be posting more and more as the weeks go by, as I educate myself, as I learn more about this project that I'm doing. And basically this project, how it came about, real quick before I get into my topic, is I've heard multiple times from professionals, from reading, from videos and things, that having a good support system for those that struggle with mental and emotional issues is very important. Okay. And that could range in that could be various different things, right? Is having a support group, right? And so it doesn't have to be a certain number of people. It can be one person. It can be a therapist. It can be a loved one. It can be a friend, a family member, whoever it might be, right? And so, but I wanted to know, okay, my spouse who suffers from mental illnesses and emotional issues as well, what is it that I can do to be able to help her, to be that support, right? Because you hear that, right? Having a strong support system or strong support group, okay, what is that, right? And so that was the start of this project that I'm doing. And so once again, I'm going to be talking about depression, and I've learned a lot so far. I have learned a lot. Just a quick disclaimer: I'm not a professional in any way, shape, or form. I am not a therapist. I am just a spouse to someone who suffers from mental and emotional issues. And so I'm just sharing from my point of view. Okay, that's it. Okay, you take what you like, you leave what you don't, and that's completely up to you. Okay, and so, but I'm excited to share with you guys today. So, first of all, depression. Okay, it's super important that to be able to understand depression, that one cannot be depression, right? To say that I am depression or this is me, I am depressed, it is not the making of who you are. Does that make sense? And so, and it's important that we as loved ones are helping those that are suffering to be able to understand that as well. That that is not who they are. It is simply what they have, right? It is what they have. It does not make them who they are, okay? And so being able to help them separate those two things of who they really are to what it is that they're suffering with, right, or having to deal with, that those are two separate things, okay? You know, and being able to do that and separating those two things, that is a very difficult thing to do in the first place, okay? It's very difficult for, I can't imagine how difficult it must be for somebody who is suffering from depression to be able to identify that separation, right? And also, as well as being on the other side of things, right, having a loved one who is suffering from depression. It was very difficult for me in the beginning as well to see that separation. That is not who she is. That is not who they are, right? It is just something that they have and that they're having to deal with and having to live with. And so, but that, being able to do that, being able to separate those two things, that has been life-changing. And being able to identify that. And it's a never-ending process. That is a never-ending thing. And even till today, you know, there's things that I, even till today, I struggle with being able to do that, separate those things. And the reason why, you know, if you have a loved one, if you have a loved one who suffers from mental or emotional issues, that can be a very difficult thing, okay? And a lot of times we have a hard time doing that because, for me is because maybe at the time I'm feeling offended, right? You hurt my feelings, right? And so that could be difficult to try to do that, to try and separate them from what it is that they're having to deal with. And it's because I'm letting my emotions take over me, right? And it's making it very difficult for me to be able to do that. Anyways, okay, so, but depression. So, specifically depression today. That's all I don't want to share everything else, okay? But that's what I'm going to talk about today. So, it is, once again, it's not who you are, it's what you have, okay? And basically, depression is a state that you're in because of the feelings that you have, right? But the feelings, okay, try and follow me, okay? So the feelings, okay, the state that you're in, right, depression, comes from feelings. And your feelings come from thoughts. And your thoughts your negative thoughts are you choose to believe, right? So when you believe those negative thoughts, right, it creates that feeling which causes depression. There, that worked out better that way, okay? So the negative thoughts that you have that come in your head, when you believe them or you give into those negative thoughts, right, it causes certain feelings, negative feelings, right, which causes depression, okay? So does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys, right? So feelings, thoughts that you believe to be true, create the feelings, negative feelings, which leads to depression, okay? And that's what it is, okay? And that's where it comes from. Now, people might blame themselves. Now, a lot of people who suffer from depression, they blame. Then even understanding that can be difficult because then they can blame themselves for having those thoughts in the first place, you know. But you can't control what it is that you think about. For example, when I say cheeseburger, right now, you're thinking of, well, where's the fries? Or maybe you're thinking about McDonald's. Or maybe you're thinking about your favorite kind of burger, right? And now I'm thinking about how hungry I am as well right now. So I don't know why I did that to myself. But anyways, right? It gets you thinking, okay? Now that you had no control over it, it popped up into your head, right? And you can't blame yourself for that, okay? But it's being able to have the power and the strength, and that's the hard part right there, is being able to help yourself to decide which ones are true and which ones aren't true, right? Which thoughts are true and which thoughts are not true, okay? And so yeah, so there's that, okay? Now, from what I have, from listening to my wife, from listening to therapists, I have personally gone and seen a therapist as well to be able to better myself, right? To see if there's anything that I can do to better myself, so that way I can be the best supporter for my wife, okay? And there's some things that I've learned, and so this I'm excited to share with you guys, okay? It's just to kind of give you guys a better understanding of what it feels like to deal with depression. And I don't truly know exactly how that feels like, right? But if I had to draw a picture of it, and I asked my wife, and she said yes, that would be the closest definition, or if you had to draw a picture, this would be the closest thing to it. So here's my whiteboard. I don't know if you guys can see it all. And, well, I'll have to draw it and then I'll flip it and turn it around for you guys. But basically, okay, so you have, I don't know, Bob, okay? Bob is here, right? Can you guys see? Yeah, hopefully you can see that. Okay, Bob is here. Don't mind all this other stuff. I can't erase it. I don't know what's wrong with it. But anyways, so Bob's here, okay? And he suffers from depression, okay? And according to my wife and others that I've heard from, that it feels like this, okay? So here they are, and there is a constant cloud over them, okay? A constant cloud over them, and it is always raining, always raining, okay? And there you go, that's my rain, okay? And that cloud never goes away, okay? That cloud is always there. That's what it feels like, okay? And so, now, all of us, right, unless you've lived in the desert your whole life, know what it looks like when it rains, right? And that, and you might think, oh my gosh, I love it when it rains. It's so beautiful. The earth gets to grow, and oh, it's just so lovely, so refreshing. You can smell the grass. It's beautiful, But imagine it never stopping, okay? How beautiful would that be? Okay, it never ends. It doesn't go away, okay? Now, somebody who suffers from depression, they have this constant cloud over them. They can't go anywhere, right? You can go inside, and that cloud's going to follow you, okay? You can go to school, and that cloud's going to follow you. You can go to work, and that cloud's going to be right there with you, okay, right above you. And that is a depressing thing to think about, right? It's sad to think about that, right? But that is very true, okay? Now, once again, I don't suffer from depression. This isn't my personal experience or anything like that. And so if you guys experience it differently or whatever, have a better how do you call it? I don't know. If you could draw a better picture, then fine. That's great. But just, this is, yeah, that's what that is. So, and I'm going to use this, okay? So, now, as loved ones, right? Okay? So, as loved ones, over here, okay? So, Bob's here, right? You got Susan, Billy, right? Whoever, okay? Loved ones, okay? There as well. And, somebody who's suffering through depression, a lot of times, what they do is they will separate themselves from others, okay? And, I say it like this, but it's kind of true, okay? Because they don't want to rain on their parade. Because over here, it's all sunshine and rainbows, right? That's how this person sees it, right? They see it as it's all sunshine and rainbows, and they don't want to get them soaked, right? They don't want to rain on their parade, okay? And so sometimes they'll separate themselves and they'll keep to themselves, okay? And so we as loved ones right here, okay, we need to be able to recognize that this is happening. Okay? And that we are not the ones doing this. Okay? That we gotta make sure that we're not causing this wall to put up this wall. Okay? And so how do we do that? Right? Okay? Now there's different, so somebody who suffers from depression, I luckily am married to someone who has been able to find coping skills, okay, or coping mechanisms to be able to deal with her depression, okay, and so I don't know what it's like to have a loved one who is suffering but does not want help, okay. I don't know what that feels like to have a loved one who's suffering and does not want help. My wife, she has been very good. She's been, as far as being open and communicating with me and letting me know how she's feeling, what she's thinking, all of those things. She's been really, really good at it. But what I've had to work on over the years is me making sure I'm willing to listen, right? And that I'm really, really, really trying to listen, okay? And so when it comes to coping mechanisms, okay, that's what I was on. This is, to me, what it looks, to me, if I had to put it in here, what coping looks like, or coping skills, coping mechanism, whatever you want to call them, I don't know what the proper word is, okay? Once again, I'm not a professional, but this is, to me, what it would look like. Let me get a different color marker. Let's go pink, okay? So, coping skills, okay? This is what it can do for you, and I have witnessed this, okay, through personal experience, being married to somebody who suffers from depression. Okay, and so here we go. Are you guys ready? This is what it looks like. Okay, that is very ugly. First of all, but that is supposed to be an umbrella. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay. That is your coping mechanisms, okay? And everyone might have different coping mechanisms, okay, that they do or that they use, okay? But that's what it is. Now, let me ask you this. Did this cloud go away? Or is that cloud still there? That cloud is still there. Right? But now, guess what? They're not getting wet. Right? It's still raining, but now they're not getting wet. Okay? And so that's what coping mechanisms or coping skills or coping practices, right, can do for you. Okay? And I have been able to witness this, and like I said, I am married to somebody who wants help, okay? And and there's times when she was the only one helping herself. Honestly, there was times when she was the only one helping herself. And I'm so proud of her for doing that, first of all. And she has, it's a never-ending process for her, right? As long as that cloud is always there, that umbrella, that's the goal, right? Is to hold up that umbrella. Now, if somebody's doing that by themselves, right? Imagining holding an umbrella up, right? And it's raining. Well, your arm, like in real life, okay, your arm gets tired, right? Just, okay, not even having anything in your hand, just putting your hand up in the air for that long, it's going to get tired, right? Eventually, okay? Maybe I got to work out more or whatever, but it's going to get tired eventually still, right? That'd probably be harder if you did have bigger muscles, actually. Okay, so anyways, off topic. But, very true, right? You're going to get tired. It's going to get tired, okay? You're tiring. And for me, what I see it as is that it is my job to make sure that I'm there to support her, okay? That I'm there to help keep her arm up, to help hold that umbrella, to keep it above her head, okay? And being able to do that, I haven't always been the perfect supporter in being able to do that, but being able to do that for her has made a huge difference, okay? And she has shared that as well. And so what are some of the things that we can do to help hold that up, okay? So I made a list, okay, of things, first of all, not to do, okay? And we've kind of talked about this already. So one, seeing them as a whole, okay, that there's no separation from what it is that they're dealing with who they really are. Secondly is putting up that wall. I talked about that already, making sure that we're not putting up that wall. And what that wall might look like or might sound like, okay, to somebody who's suffering from depression is, whoa, I don't know what's going on with you, right? But I did not cause that. I am not responsible for what's going on with you. I had nothing to do with it, okay? That, I'm good. I'm cool. I'm fine, but something's going on over there. So doing that, okay, that's putting up the wall, okay? You're putting up that wall between you and your loved one. And then another thing is thinking that there's nothing that I can do because I'm not a professional, right? So thinking that there's nothing that I can do as a loved one, there's nothing I can do because I'm not a professional, okay? And so here are some things that I found have worked, okay, just through my personal experience. I'm sure there's more out there. I'm still learning as I go. But number one is listening. Holy cow, look at that, listening, okay? Now listening, period, in any relationship is important no matter what, right? And so, so making sure that we're listening, okay? And we will never be able to fully understand, okay, what it is that they are going through. Okay, even when you have one person who's suffering from depression and somebody else who's suffering from depression, they experience those things differently as well. And so for them to be able to completely 100% understand each other even, that's very difficult, right? And so number two, okay, is feeling, right? Is to feel for them, okay? To be able to have empathy, right? Instead of sympathy and silver lining everything, okay? Making sure that we are trying our best to connect with what it is that they're experiencing or what it is that they're going through, okay? But at the same time, I want to put a little caution there as well, is the best, it's not always responding, right? When you hear something, then you have a response, right? That's not what they're always looking for, is a response, okay? It can be as simple as, man, I can't believe that is what you're going through. I can't imagine what that would feel like. I can't even imagine how that would feel. And, and just that, simply put, just that alone shows that you're trying, okay? Shows that you're even trying, okay? Number three, I talked about this as well, is supporting positive coping mechanisms, right? Positive, good coping mechanisms, right? Not negative ones like violence or drug use or, alcohol, any of that stuff, right? That might take their mind off their suffering momentarily. But if I had to put it here, right? Basically, doing that, okay, is poking holes in your umbrella. Okay? Negative coping skills or negative coping mechanisms. That is what's happening, okay? And so you think you're holding up the umbrella, right? But when you're doing those things, whether it's resorting to violence or alcohol or drug use or whatever it might be, you think you're holding it up, but the rain is still pouring through, Okay, it's still coming through. You're still going to feel everything. You know, it might take until everything wears off, right? And it'll hit you. And so making sure that we're supporting positive coping mechanisms, and just loving them, man, just loving them, and being able to help. And what makes it easier to love them is, once again, is when you're separating them from what it is that they're having to suffer with, right, or having to go through. Okay, making sure we're separating those two things. And anyways, that is what I wanted to share with you guys for today. Okay, and thank you for tuning in to my first ever live stream, and I am excited to do this again. But for now, once again, check out my YouTube channel. Okay, I'll be posting this video. If you've missed this and you wanted to watch it again, you can head over to my YouTube channel, my Lift Her Up Project. We also have other YouTube channels as well. If you're here on Facebook, I'm sure you've already seen our Hano Squares videos, our Hano Squares channel. That actually is one of the things that my wife does as far as her coping mechanisms. Okay, and yeah, before I leave you, I'll leave you guys with that. Okay, just some tips. Okay, of things that she's done as far as coping with her depression. Okay, and so I promise this is gonna be it. Okay, so she likes to work out. She loves to run. Obviously, I feel differently about that, but that's okay. I like to think that I can run. And what else? She loves to make. She loves to serve people. Okay, and that's the cool thing about service is, in order to truly serve somebody, you have to take yourself away from yourself to think about others. That made no sense. I know that. But you have to be able to think about others, right? Instead of yourself. And so that has definitely helped her. And then, what else? Oh, yeah, our YouTube channels. Yeah, her taking her talents and skills and implementing that into our YouTube channels. That she's awesome at as well, too. And, you know, and how I support her in that is I am her muse. And I can act whatever she wants me to be. No, just kidding. I try to anyways. But, yeah, so those are just a few of the things that she likes to do. Spending time with kids, you know, with our children, and activities with the family, you know, all of those things. And, but yeah, you guys might have other ideas as well. And if you do, and if they've worked for you or worked for a loved one, put it in the description. Type it, comment below. Okay, comment down below of what you guys have experienced that has worked for you as far as being able to cope with depression, personally or, you know, extended, you know, through a loved one. And but yeah. Anyways, thanks you guys so much for watching today. And that is a wrap. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.